the United States of America. A nation built on ideals, forged in revolution, and shaped by a tapestry of cultures. To understand America today, we must journey back to its beginnings. We must explore the triumphs and tragedies that have defined its identity. This is the story of the American journey. It is a story of diverse peoples, from the first inhabitants who walked these lands to the waves of immigrants who sought opportunity and freedom. We will trace the footsteps of Native American civilizations, their cultures vibrant and diverse. We will witness the arrival of Europeans, their interactions with indigenous populations, shaping the destiny of a continent. From the flames of revolution to the struggle for civil rights, the American story is one of constant evolution. It is a testament to the human spirit's enduring pursuit of liberty, equality, and opportunity. Join us as we delve into the rich narrative of the United States, a journey that continues to unfold before our very eyes. Long before European ships reached these shores, a vibrant mosaic of Native American cultures thrived across the North American continent. These were not simply nomadic tribes, but sophisticated societies with complex social structures, intricate belief systems, and a deep connection to the land. In the Southwest, the ancestral Puebloans, masters of masonry and irrigation, built remarkable cliff dwellings that stand as testaments to their ingenuity. Across the Northeast, the Iroquois Confederacy, a powerful alliance of 6 nations, demonstrated the strength of diplomacy and cooperation. Their system of governance, based on consensus and representation, would later influence the framers of the United States Constitution. Along the Mississippi River and its tributaries, the Mississippian culture flourished, constructing massive earthen mounds that served as ceremonial centers and platforms for elite residences. These mounds, some as large as Egyptian pyramids, reflect a highly organized society capable of mobilizing vast resources. These are but a few examples of the rich tapestry of Native American life that existed before the arrival of Europeans. Each nation had its own unique language, traditions, and beliefs, contributing to the diversity and complexity of indigenous America. Understanding their stories is crucial to understanding the full scope of American history. The year 1492 marked a turning point in world history, as Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer sailing for the Spanish crown, landed in the Americas. This momentous event is often celebrated for its boldness and the spirit of adventure it embodied. However, it also initiated a complex and often tragic series of interactions between Europeans and the indigenous peoples of the Americas. This event, while often romanticized, set in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the course of both the New World and the Old. The arrival of Columbus and subsequent European explorers led to the exchange of goods, ideas, and unfortunately diseases, which had profound impacts on both continents. European powers, driven by a thirst for wealth, resources, and new trade routes, began to establish a presence in the Americas. The promise of untold riches and the allure of new lands spurred nations like Spain, Portugal, England, and France to embark on ambitious voyages of exploration and conquest. The Spanish, with their conquistadors and missionaries, carved out a vast empire in South and Central America, leaving an indelible mark on the cultures and demographics of the region. They established cities, converted indigenous populations to Christianity, and extracted vast amounts of wealth, particularly gold and silver, which fueled their empire. The English established settlements along the Atlantic coast of North America, seeking religious freedom and economic opportunity. These early colonies, such as Jamestown and Plymouth, faced numerous hardships, including harsh winters, food shortages, and conflicts with Native American tribes. The French, focused on fur trading, forged alliances with Native American tribes in the Great Lakes region and along the Mississippi River. Their relatively cooperative relationships with indigenous peoples allowed them to establish a lucrative trade network and expand their influence in North America. The arrival of Europeans brought about profound changes to the Americas. The introduction of new technologies, animals, and plants transformed the landscape and the way of life for many indigenous communities. New diseases such as smallpox ravaged Native American populations, decimating their numbers and disrupting their societies. These epidemics, for which the indigenous peoples had no immunity, led to significant loss of life and cultural upheaval. Conflicts over land and resources became increasingly common as European powers sought to expand their colonial holdings. These disputes often led to violent confrontations and long-lasting animosities between settlers and Native American tribes. The introduction of new crops and livestock had a transformative impact on the environment and traditional ways of life. European agricultural practices and domesticated animals such as horses and cattle altered the ecological balance and reshaped the agricultural landscape of the Americas. This period of exploration and colonization laid the foundation for the future United States. But it also sowed the seeds of conflict and displacement that would continue to shape the nation's history for centuries to come. The legacies of these early interactions are still felt today, influencing the cultural, social, and political landscapes of the modern Americas. Section 4. Declaring Independence. The American Revolution. By the mid-18th century, 13 British colonies had taken root along the Atlantic seaboard of North America. These colonies were a mix of bustling port cities, small towns, and rural farmlands, each contributing to the unique tapestry of colonial life. These colonies, while diverse in their economies and social structures, were bound by a shared language, a growing sense of identity, and increasing resentment towards British rule. The colonists began to see themselves not just as British subjects, but as Americans with their own distinct culture and aspirations. A series of taxes and acts imposed by the British Parliament, intended to assert control over the colonies and generate revenue, sparked outrage and resistance. The Stamp Act, the Townshend Acts, and the Tea Act were seen as direct threats to the colonists' autonomy and economic freedom. The cry of no taxation without representation became a rallying point for colonists who believed they deserved the same rights and freedoms as their counterparts in England. This slogan encapsulated their demand for a voice in the laws and taxes that affected their lives. Tensions escalated, culminating in armed conflict with the battles of Lexington and Concord in 1775, marking the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. These early skirmishes demonstrated the colonists' willingness to fight for their rights and set the stage for a larger struggle for independence. Guided by leaders like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, the colonists fought valiantly for their independence. These leaders not only directed military strategies, but also inspired the people with their vision of a free and self-governing nation. The Declaration of Independence, adopted on July 4, 1776, proclaimed the colony's separation from Great Britain and articulated the revolutionary ideals of liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness. This document, primarily authored by Thomas Jefferson, laid the philosophical foundation for the new nation. The war raged on for several years, with both sides experiencing victories and defeats. The colonists faced numerous challenges, including shortages of supplies and harsh winters, but their determination and resilience kept the fight alive. Finally, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris officially recognized the United States of America as an independent nation. This treaty marked the end of the Revolutionary War and the beginning of a new era for the American people. The American Revolution was a watershed moment in history, not only for the birth of a new nation, but also for its enduring legacy of democratic ideals that continue to inspire movements for freedom and self-determination around the world. The principles of liberty and justice that emerged from this revolution have had a profound impact on global history, influencing countless other struggles for independence and human rights. Section 5. A Young Nation, the Early Republic and Expansion. After securing independence from Great Britain, the newly formed United States faced the daunting task of building a nation from scratch. The war had left the country in a fragile state, and the leaders had to navigate through uncharted waters to establish a functioning government. The Articles of Confederation, adopted in 1777, proved inadequate in addressing the challenges of governing a fledgling nation. The central government was too weak, lacking the power to tax or regulate commerce effectively, which led to economic turmoil and interstate conflicts. In 1787, delegates from the states convened in Philadelphia to address these weaknesses, ultimately drafting the United States Constitution. This new document aimed to create a stronger federal government while balancing the powers between the states and the national authority. The Constitution, with its emphasis on separation of powers, checks and balances, and a Bill of Rights guaranteeing individual liberties, established a framework for a more stable and enduring government. It was a revolutionary blueprint that would influence democratic governance worldwide. George Washington, unanimously elected as the first president, guided the nation through its formative years, establishing precedents and setting the tone for future administrations. His leadership was crucial in uniting the country and fostering a sense of national identity. Despite internal divisions and external threats, the young republic grew rapidly, expanding westward across the North American continent. This period of expansion was driven by the promise of new opportunities and the belief in the nation's manifest destiny to spread democracy and civilization. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the United States, opening up vast territories for exploration and settlement. President Thomas Jefferson's vision of an empire of liberty began to take shape as explorers like Lewis and Clark ventured into the unknown. This westward expansion, while fueled by opportunity and a belief in manifest destiny, came at a significant cost to Native American tribes who were displaced and dispossessed of their ancestral lands. The impact on indigenous cultures was profound and often tragic, as treaties were broken and conflicts ensued. The early republic witnessed the rise of political parties, the growth of industry and commerce, and the continued debate over slavery, an issue that would ultimately tear the nation apart. The contrasting visions for the country's future created deep divisions that would lead to the Civil War. Despite these challenges, the United States emerged as a major power on the world stage, its ideals of democracy and self-government serving as a beacon of hope for people seeking freedom and opportunity. The early republic laid the foundation for a nation that would continue to evolve and strive towards a more perfect union.